Today you're a person that you may think, I am so sick of this place, I want to get out of here. I'm not going to embarrass this person that I love by walking out. And you may be a person who has already turned away from Christ. I want you to know, today Jesus still loves you. And He will save you if you will turn to Him. He will do it because He loves you that much. In verse 12, so when He washed their feet, and taken His garments and reclined at the table again, He said to them, do you know what I have done to you? In other words, what did this mean? And He doesn't even give them a chance to answer. You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for so I am. Oh no, Jesus never claimed to be God. You heard that, Robert? He never claimed to be. How many times in Scripture? I am. People still say that. It's ridiculous. Then the Lord and teacher washed your feet, you ought to wash one another's feet. What do you mean? That's the lowest, stinkingest, dirty servant job in the house. Yeah. And so, what does it mean to be an accountability partner? To struggle with the one who is a person that you're walking in accountability with, and to help them and to encourage them and to pick them up when they fail and for them to pick you up when you fail. And all of this, we're sitting in women's Bible study groups on small groups on Wednesday night and men's groups on Sunday afternoon and other groups around, and we're hearing each other's struggles. Are we washing each other's feet? Are we encouraging and helping and supporting each other? That's what we were called to do. It may be a dirty job, and it may be very inconvenient and very time-consuming, but it's our job. Verse 15. This is Jesus. For I gave you an example that you also should do as I did to you. Truly, truly, big emphasis. I say to you, a slave is not greater than his master, nor is the one who sent greater than the one who sent him. If you know these things, you are blessed. Hurry up, preacher, put a period on that sentence. I want to be blessed because I know it. But that's not the end of the sentence, is it? Folks, as a church family, we can't just know things and be okay. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do. So it's how we treat each other, how we serve each other, how we love each other, that is a part of what really makes us serve God by serving each other. Notice, if you would, quickly, we're coming to a close in Ephesians 4. Now this one's marked. My precept thing jumped on me at the last minute there. Therefore I, the prisoner of the Lord, implore you to walk. Remember that from last week? We talked about walking. That's a way of life. The Christian life is not as something that happened at a particular age. You got saved, you're done. No, you got up from being dead in trespasses and sins because God's Spirit made you alive in your spirit, and now you are walking with Jesus for the rest of your life and for eternity. And if you're not paying attention to Jesus, you're going to wander off and you're going to get hurt. And so we walk with Him in a manner worthy of the calling with which we've been called. Folks, this is an incredible thing that God would take sinful people and adopt them and make them His children and choose to have them in His presence for all eternity. Do we see that? And so we should be walking now as people who understand that truth, the way that we live. And what does it look like? What does it look like? Verse 2. With all humility. Remember, not thinking too highly of ourselves. With all humility, same idea. And gentleness. Gentleness, there's not a place in gentleness for slapping people around. That's passive aggressiveness that we unfortunately see so many times in marriages and families and in the church. I know the church is not perfect. If you know the church is not perfect, please say amen. Amen. All right. So we're a family. How many of you are in a perfect family? Say amen. But we expect the church to be perfect. And folks, we have got to realize that aside from the grace of God, we're all destined to hell. Without Jesus, we're going to bust hell wide open. It's only because of Him we can be saved. He's the way, the truth, and the life. And no man comes to the Father except by Him. Who said that? It wasn't Kennedy. It wasn't Lincoln. It was Jesus. With all humility and gentleness, with patience. You see, the reason Paul put that in there was because God had let him see things well into the future, and he'd heard about Southern battles. And so it was going to take patience. And doing what? Showing tolerance for one another in love. Now, folks, tolerance, we don't know what that means anymore. That word is gone. It's gone. Because tolerance now means whatever your view is you should tolerate mine. And if you don't tolerate mine, then you're evil and wicked and bad. If you don't agree with me, if you don't accept everything I'm about, then you're rejected. That's not tolerance. Tolerance is an attitude that says we are called to love each other and to serve each other and to work with each other as God would have us do. Even when there are times we may not have the same preferences, we may not have the same traditions, because preferences and traditions die. This is what lives. The very Word of God and the God who gave it to us. And so here we are, showing tolerance for one another in love. And not the love that you can crank out on your own. This is going to be a fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace. You remember those? The very first one? Love. Being diligent to preserve the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. So we have the bond of peace because we have Jesus. We've been bound together in the church by the Spirit of God. Jesus is the Prince of Peace. So now we have the bond of peace, and the Spirit lives within each and every person who is born again. So we have the Spirit. So now we have to be diligent to preserve the unity of the Spirit. Why? Go back to the beginning of the sermon. It's almost over. Let's plug this piece into this piece. What did that young woman say? Is the devil really trying to destroy your family, your marriage, your neighborhood, your whatever? No, he's trying to destroy our faith, our trust in God. And so if we allow him to destroy our unity in our home, in our marriage, in our family, in relationship with our parents, with our children, whatever it may be, it's going to ultimately make us vulnerable to the weakening and failing of our faith in God. Now do you see what's at stake? It's not a tradition that's at stake. It's not a preference that is at stake. It is the very work of God in our midst to save us by His faith. And with this passage, Colossians 1, the continuation of what you saw a moment ago, I want you to see this. This is, again, it's talking about Jesus. He is before all things. Before time existed, He existed. Pre-time existence. And in Him all things hold together. You see, because of Jesus, because we're born again children of God, the Scripture says we are now in Him. Right? Even baptism, which we're going to celebrate in just a little bit with Ethan, the idea is being put in Him. And so we have a physical display that represents a spiritual reality of being in Him. Okay? So if we're in the bond of peace and in the unity of the Spirit is going on here, folks, it's because in Him all things hold together. He can hold us together. Amen? Can He hold us together? Amen, He can. And He can help us to love each other. And He can help us to be a family and to do all of these things. Why? Because He is also the head of the body, the church. And He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead. Every person who's going to be born again has the following line behind Jesus. He's the first one resurrected. And not because somebody else resurrected him. You know, Jesus resurrected Lazarus. Who resurrected Jesus? He's God. And so Lazarus was resurrected, and then what did he happen when he got old? He died. Jesus is never going to die. This is who we're turning to. The eternal Son of God, timeless in His existence as the Son of God, as part of the Trinity. And He is going to hold this church together if we are following Him. Yeah. He's the beginning, the firstborn of the dead, so that He Himself must come in second place to the pastor and deacons. Must come in third place to the women's missionary team. We don't have one of those anymore, so I can't get in trouble for saying that. No. Who is in charge? It ain't me. And yet sometimes it's hard to tell. In a church, when you're walking through the halls and you're in or around meetings and meetings that shouldn't be happening in the halls and things like that, and it doesn't sound like He's in charge. But He should be. Why? It's all right. But take that aside. Take it aside that it's all right. He should be in charge because nobody else in this place can love like He loves. Nobody else in this place can save like He saved. Nobody else can care about our needs and our concerns like He cares. So even if you want to look at it from a selfish standpoint, that nobody can take care of you better than Jesus, let's let Him be the head of His church. Pray with me. Father, we come here today. And Lord, we know we're just like those apostles that struggled to figure out who's going to be the greatest. Forgive us. And help us to love because You love through us. We really need to know how to die to self. To submit to Your Spirit. Lord, for those of us who are Your children, that have been born again here at Little Cypress Baptist Church, hear our prayers. We confess our sins. And as we ask for You to strengthen us, to build into our lives some accountability and support, Lord, to get us going in the right direction. Forgive us for gossiping. Forgive us for the reality of not talking to the people we have a problem with rather than talking to others about it. Lord, help us to do it like You said to do it because we want to be faithful to You. Forgive us. Lord, today there may be some folks here who have never received Your Son. Now they know that they've sinned. And they know because Nicodemus was a really good person that he couldn't be saved by being a good person. They know now that they need You, Jesus. That they would turn their thoughts toward You right now. They would say, Father in heaven, I know You sent Your Son Jesus to save me. And I thank You for that. I don't deserve that kind of sacrifice. But Jesus, I'm asking You to come into my life, to change me. I want to to repent of my sin. I want to turn away from living my life my own way. Jesus, come in and save me and make me a child of God. I want to live with you all of my life, walk with you all of my days and throughout eternity. And I will follow you publicly, even as you called Nicodemus to follow you publicly. Lord, I ask that you would be with those you may be calling to be a part of this church family. They would know and they would come. Have us respond in any way that is pleasing to you. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. So in this time of invitation, it's an opportunity for people who believe that God's calling them to be a part of this church family. They're born-again children of God. They want to be here. You can come and let me know that. Maybe you prayed to receive Christ, and we need to help you be discipled and encouraged and know how to walk with the Lord. You need to come and let me know. Whatever it is that God is wanting to do in your life, can I tell you, nobody loves you more than Him. Say yes to Him today. As we stand as they're singing, you come, and I will meet you right here. Those of you who just want to come and pray, please feel free to meet.